Well, as you know, because why else would you be here, my reputation is in games and horror. But I'm also a dad and a granddad. I have 15 grandkids so far as of this video. I also have 5 kids, but they're grown up, so, they're not cute anymore. Sorry, Spencer. But because Grandpa likes scary things, the grandkids do too. Let me give you an example. When my granddaughter Amelia was 6, she went to the aquarium with Mom and Dad. Not me, but, her parents. And she saw the octopus. Her first reaction was,
Dad, that looks just like one of Grandpa's Cthulhu's.
So she knows. Like, the little kids would play with my monster figures for Cthulhu Wars, and they were like, this is the daddy monster, this is the mommy monster, and these will be the babies, and they would have play house with, like, Hastur and, Athatep and stuff. Earlier this year, Amelia, who was almost 9, wrote a song titled Cthulhu Dance With Me. Why not, right? Now, you have to understand that my goal isn't to turn my grandkids into little gorehounds who like all the scary stuff. I want them to be little girls and little boys. I want them to play on the teeter-totter and go camping, visit the zoo, and ooh and ah at the cheetah. So for me, a granddaughter who is singing Cthulhu Dance With Me is just about the perfect collision of these worlds. Now, despite this, some of the grandkids, as they get older especially, want to sit with Grandpa and watch a scary movie. Now, the kind of movies I watch are not all suitable for kids. They're too scary, they might give them nightmares, or they might be too shocking. How do I pick a good movie to watch with kids? Here are some tips. Old school horror comedies. You can't show them new horror comedies because modern comedy is, frankly, too raunchy and too fast-paced. I don't need to show a 10-year-old humor about getting drunk or getting laid. But the older comedies don't do this. Here's 2 good examples. Actually, 3 good examples. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. So in this movie, there's the classic Universal monsters, and they're done well, and the comedy is easy enough for a kid to get. It's funny. I showed this to my granddaughter when she was 10, and she was a little bit scared in one scene where Abbott sits down on, or Costello sits down on Frankenstein's lap, but it was also funny, so she was able to handle it. And it was about the right level of monsters and funny. Another example is The Raven. So The Raven came out in the 60s. It's got Vincent Price and Boris Karloff and Peter Lorre, and there's quite a bit of comedy, and there's flashy lights, and there's not too scary. Probably the scariest scene is where Vincent Price goes into the basement and there's like a skeleton in a moldy skeleton in a coffin. But it's about the right level for the little kids to enjoy, and there's magic and stuff, and it's a little bit creepy because there's old castles and things, but it's not too creepy. Then there are Mexican horror, which are often pretty goofy. One example is Tom Thumb and Little Red Riding Hood versus the Monsters. This is Looney Tunes of a movie. The biggest disadvantage is that probably it's best seen with subtitles instead of dubbed. Maybe the kids can't read, but it's crazy. I recommend it to anyone, not just kids. You can also just go old school or general instead of just comedies, but just old school horror. Now, some of these are going to be too scary. Okay, like Abbott and Costello was almost too scary for my granddaughter. But some are going to be safe, especially campy teen movies made for drive-ins in the 1960s. For example, Invasion of the Saucermen. There's hardly anything scary in this. I mean, the Saucermen are a tiny bit scary, but, the fact they get killed by light, and they're so goofy looking that usually the kids can handle it. Then we have the Gamera movies. These are actually made for kids. Even though they have giant monsters who actually kill people, it's usually not too gruesome and graphic. They're like eating an airplane with people on it or something. But Gamera comes to save the game. Gamera is super kid-friendly. All those old Gamera movies are going to work fine for them. There's movies such as I Was a Teenage Werewolf. This might be a slightly older audience because there is a tiny bit of black and white blood in the screen. And of course, black and white blood is safer because, it's not red. And I think some kids will be able to handle Tarantula, the movie. Now, this movie does have a giant spider, and if your kids are creeped out by spiders, which, by the way, is something I have sought hard all my life to have my kids not afraid of spiders. When they're little, I'll show them pictures of a baby spider and say, look how cute the spider is, and talk about how spiders are small animals, not about how they look and seem creepy. Now, this has been tough for me because, believe it or not, I'm a little scared of spiders myself, but I try to overcome this for the grandkids, and so I have largely succeeded. Okay, I guess The gist of what I'm saying here is that the real goal here isn't to make your kids into lovers of scary movies. It's to spend time with your kids, enjoying some movies and having them think they're doing the same thing that you do. And with the old movies that aren't too scary and aren't too quiet usually, you can talk to your kids. You can say something as simple as, ooh, that was scary. That lets the kid know it scared you too. And that breaks the ice. It lets them admit they were scared. Okay. Also, what really watching movies with their kid is about is spending fun family time together. So they love you more, they have more self-confidence, and they're likelier to have a happy future life. And that's what you actually care about. Advice from a strange old man.